Hi, I'm Steven.
Hi, I'm Valerie.
And welcome to our home. Why did we want to remodel? I think it started with me. So we have 3 children who grew up in this house. We've been here for 20 years, which is a long time. And you can imagine the 3 little people and their little hands and smudging all over the place. And we had these beautiful kitchen cabinets that over time had just gotten totally beat up. And so I think it started with me saying, hey, our kitchen cabinets are looking pretty worn. And then I think you had something you want to do.
Yeah, I wanted to open up the kitchen and just make it more of a gathering place. And we never used the living room before. So I wanted to open it up and have that as a space we use as well.
Yeah, and we have this huge wall sort of dividing right through our living space, like between our kitchen and our living room. And so we thought if we removed that wall, that would really, really open things up a lot. And then, from there, the project kind of grew where we said, well, if we're doing all this work already, why don't we address this, this, and this? And we really just wanted to modernize the entire downstairs and just bring it up to sort of current trends. I mean, I think that at the time, when we moved in 20 years prior, the house was fantastic, but a lot changes in 2 decades. So my biggest concern with a remodel was that I knew it was going to be expensive, and I'm a pretty frugal person, but I'm okay, with the concept of spending, a good chunk of money if the end result I'm happy with, and that it really turns out well. I think that my biggest fear would be that we would spend a bunch of money and that I wouldn't like the end result, and then I would really want to kick myself. So that was really my concern.
And my biggest concern was the disruption in the house and the noise and how long it was going to take. Would it go over months and months and months? If it was going to be on time.
Another important factor was that whoever we worked with as a general contractor, we really wanted to be able to work well with them. We didn't want a frustrating process. So I think personality fit of that contractor style was going to be really important to us. And so then we started a pretty exhaustive search. I'm an engineer by training, so I like to kind of get into the details. So we had probably 5 overall quotes for this project that we were engaging with. And we asked friends. And it's funny, when you talk to friends and you ask them, hey, do you have a general contractor you can recommend? The universal answer was, I know someone you shouldn't use, so, which is crazy. And so we didn't want that experience. We want to find someone good. So we met with several contractors, but there were really 2 problems. First was none of them gave us the confidence that after we spent all this money, that the quality would be there, and that would be really upsetting. And then the second problem that we had was really more around personality fit.
Yeah, we had met with a few contractors and they just weren't a good fit. I thought they might be difficult to have in the house with us for the project. It was going to be a long project. We wanted to feel comfortable with whoever we worked with.
Yeah, I think one seemed really kind of stubborn, and another one seemed kind of stuck up, I guess you'd say.
Into himself.
Right.
He was he didn't want to hear our suggestions. He thought he knew best.
Yeah, but fortunately, Valerie found someone who had a lot of experience in high-end remodels. And so she was able to give us a great referral and said, hey, this contractor, the Wysocki brothers, are fantastic. And that's when we knew that the next step was to set up a meeting with the Wysocki brothers. Meeting with Carl and Tim of the Wysocki brothers was a great experience. I think that it really helped to address the 2 big concerns that we had prior with some of the other contractors. I think number 1, in terms of quality, they had worked on not just remodels before, but building entire homes from the ground up. They've worked on not just a single home, they actually worked on small neighborhoods. And so they had a ton of building experience over many decades, and that was huge. And number 2, I think around personality.
Yeah, they were very easy to talk to. They wanted our input. They made us feel very comfortable.
But also in terms of, they showed us a lot of their past works, some photos from the different jobs that they had done, and the quality level there was fantastic.
Yeah, they were very professional.
And in terms of communication style, I think, we live in a modern age where people use things like email and text messages. And believe it or not, we had spoken with some contractors that said, oh no, I don't do email. I only do phone calls. So anytime you need to send me something, you have to call me. What is that? That's crazy. So with them, it's really easy. It was easy to work with them. So they said hey, if you want to communicate with us, you can email us, you can text us. We also have a comprehensive software that calls the Builder Trend, which was a way to communicate with them where it's all recorded in one place. So not only their communications to us, their documents that they were going to provide us, were all going to be captured in there, but also our communications back to them. Any questions or concerns that we would have as a project would proceed would all be recorded in one place. And I like the comfort level of sort of approaching things from a more sophisticated manner. One of the great things about working with Carl and Tim and their team is that anything that we wanted to do or any ideas that they brought, it's all possible. It's just a matter of, how much work would be involved. And so one of the things that we discussed with them is, hey, well, wouldn't it be great? We used to have this big sort of base to the fireplace, and the fireplace was lifted off the floor, and we actually lost a lot of additional room in the keeping room because of that. And so we're like, can we lower the base all the way down so that the fireplace is flush with the floor? And they said, yes, we can. It's a little bit involved because we're gonna have to open up the floor and modify the floor trusses, but we can do it. And that's one of the great things that we love working with them, is that they can pretty much do anything that we could really imagine. And so the end result was just so much better because we could do that. In the keeping room, we really did a lot. We changed the entire ceiling and added in a nice paneling across the ceiling. We changed all the windows. And so both the location and the shape, sort of size of the windows all changed, which was a delicate procedure.
Yeah, and it completely brightened up the room.
Yeah, it's a lot nicer now. And it was hard to do because the exterior brick also had to be matched. And so trying to retain as much of the original brick as possible and then adding in new brick as necessary while having it match the rest of the house is not easy to do. In the kitchen, which was really the focal point of the project, we did a lot.
Right.
We did the cabinets that I originally wanted to address, and the cabinets are absolutely gorgeous. Just really,
Beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
Very top quality.
And super functional the way that the kitchen is laid out, where even though we have a lot of space now, the things that you need to use on a cooking, and basis, on an everyday basis, is all relatively close, so you're not having to walk all the way across the kitchen. The island.
Yeah, the island is very helpful for cooking.
We used to have like a 2-tier island, and now it's just one large slab going, probably the largest individual sort of slab you could have as a contiguous piece.
And we can get more seating in because there's, since it's so large, we can have stools there.
And one of the main reasons for this project was opening up the living space, or the kitchen, to the living room. And so we removed the center wall dividing the space, which is actually all of the weight of the upstairs of our home is on that wall. And that had to be done very carefully. And so Carl and his team, they brought in engineers to make sure that it was spec'd out properly, and just did a great job of safely removing the wall, having it inspected afterwards by the engineer, just sign off, make sure that everything was done correctly. Because to do that, if you hired a contractor that didn't have the kind of experience that this team had in building entire homes, I'm not sure if I'd have the same kind of confidence, that we'd have that confidence
Right.
that
the house wouldn't fall down.
Right. In the living room, ton of work done there as well. One of the big things that we did is we really wanted a lot of light coming into the space. And so the staircase that is adjacent to the living room, underneath the staircase was completely closed off. There was a wall. And so one of the things that we did is we cut that open, so now that you can see sort of underneath the staircase to the windows on the other side of the home. So it really additionally opens it up, besides just the removal of the main wall that we had done earlier.
And also they made this amazing picture window they had to use special glass.
Yeah, it was one gigantic
Yeah.
piece of glass that is gorgeous. It helps just let in so much light.
And we have a farm in the backyard, so it's nice to have that window there and just be able to enjoy that.
And it required, I think, probably a lot of framing support around it because the window was just so
Yeah.
large. So again, that confidence that they can do this stuff correctly is important. The bathroom turned out beautifully. And pretty much everything in the bathroom was replaced.
We didn't like it before because it was very dark and it seemed very crowded. Now it's very bright and airy.
Now the project is done, we couldn't be any happier.
I think that the major things that we're looking for, if one was quality, totally hit it. They did a fantastic job. Again, I'm frugal. I don't love to spend money when I don't need to, but I am more than happy to spend money when the value is there. And the quality that we got from this project, I think they both feel that the value was there. And then in terms of working with them,
Yeah, it was stress-free. We got along with them well. We didn't really mind them being in the house.
yes,
Very professional, polite.
customer service oriented. Anytime that Valerie and I had an idea that we want to talk about with them, they would stop everything and say, okay, well, what's your idea, and work with us to figure out the best way of implementing that idea or concept. And they would come to us sometimes and say, hey, look, now that we're in this space and we opened up this wall, we're thinking about this with that. And it was just so easy to work with them. So yeah, I think that we are so happy. We've been here for 20 years prior to the project. I think that we'll be here another 20 years more, pretty much until we can't walk up and down the stairs. So it's our forever home. And
We would 100% recommend them.
yeah, I think that they are great contractors to work with. Heartily recommend them.